Alright, let's get some light in here for this video. Much better. Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Unplugged, and today I want to give you the most straightforward, to-the-point review that I can give on this Oupes Mega 5 portable power station. And from my research and what I've looked at, I think this is the best bang for your buck for a power station that I've ever seen. Right now, you can get this unit for around $1,800 because it's on sale right now, and I've also got a discount code that will be in the video description. And if you purchase through my link, I want to make you aware that I do earn commission, and that could cause me to give a biased review. That's just the disclaimer I get on any product that is sent to me to review. Now, about 2 years ago, I did a series of videos on my other channel reviewing portable power stations, and at the end of the series I said, you know what guys, I can't recommend portable power stations. They're too expensive for what you get. One of the units that I reviewed cost like $4,200 to have almost as much capacity as this. Another unit was $3,300 for half the capacity of this unit. Now we're at $1,800, so almost half the price for double the capacity. Now those numbers are affected by those other units had solar panels priced in. So you're going to add a few hundred more dollars to get up to that solar panel price. But still, just the unit, $1,800 for 4,000 watts of continuous AC output and a 5 kilowatt hour battery. Now that unit that I was just talking about that cost twice as much as this one just a couple years ago, that only had 2 kilowatts of battery. This has 5 kilowatts. That unit could only charge at 800 watts at a time of solar charging. This charges at 2,200 watts of solar input. And that makes a dramatic difference. Now what I've been looking at is, can a unit like this do large-scale permanent power source on like a shop or an outbuilding or an RV, something like that. So I'm using this unit to power this building full time. Now I'm not out here that much, I don't run that much electricity, so I don't have an extra battery pack. I only have 540 watts of solar panels, but I think that will be sufficient for everything I do out here. Just the basic kit with one unit and 2 of the 270 watt solar panels. Now if you wanted to get crazy with this and you wanted to run a whole house, you actually could do that, because you can stack these units and these battery packs to get up to 54 kilowatt hours of battery. And a whole home solar system is probably going to average around 50 kilowatt hours of battery. And you can do 2,200 watts of charging. So maybe not whole home, but whole shop, if you have a big shop, or all of the 110 circuits in your home could easily be run all the time off a unit like this. But that's not how most people are going to use them. A lot of people are going to be wanting these for the ability to run an RV off them. And a lot of these power stations that I've looked at have this 30 amp plug that we're all used to seeing, but their versions don't necessarily offer a full 30 amp of output. It's common to put a 30 amp plug on here because this is the size and shape of plug that your RV uses, but to only actually have the ability to run 20 amps to that plug. This puts out a true 30 amp. So this is one of the largest, most capable 110 watt inverters on the market, and you can get it for under $2,000 right now today. I think that sale is only up for a few more days by the time you see this video. But let's talk about what we can do with this unit. I've been running this for about a week out here in the Quonset hut, and I come out here and just turn stuff on. I run the lights for a couple hours, whatever the case may be. And I have 1,500 watts of high bay lights out here. That's a crazy amount. They put out 200,000 lumens at 1,500 watts. So 1,500 watts is like 2 to 3 times what a refrigerator takes. So I can only run these lights for 3.5 hours. But you could run your refrigerator for 10 hours on this without charging the solar, with solar. So, and that's a full-size big refrigerator. So if you had a mini fridge, you could easily run this 24/7 with a single battery and just the solar panels. So It really has a lot of capability. There are a couple things on this that aren't maybe perfect or that you might not love about it. Number one, I've watched a lot of other reviews and people mention that they think these micro USB or these USB-C ports, they're USB-C. Some people say these USB-C ports should be 100 watt. I don't really see where that's a big deal to me. 60 watt is more than your little box that your phone charges off of is normally going to put out, and it runs it charges my laptop just fine. So 100 amp on 100 watt on these might be ideal, but I don't mind what they are. The other downside to this is it is a very heavy unit. So when you're ordering something like this, essentially you're getting the battery capacity of like multiple car batteries. And that is just a battery. This capacity is just going to be really heavy. So this unit weighs like 110 pounds or something. Now it has a pull-out handle on the side, and it has wheels. Let me actually just show you that real quick. Lift it up, pull-out handle, roll it around. So I can pick this thing up and carry it, but it's pretty heavy, so I'm really glad that it has wheels on it. So as far as negatives, those are the only two things I can think of. If there was something else that would deter me from buying this, I guess the only other thing I can say is that it's not 240 volts. But you're not going to find any competitors with a 240 volt version of this that's even remotely in the same price range. So if you're looking for like the most capable 110 volt unit that you can get for your money, this is going to be a strong contender for that. So let's take a look at all of the outputs and the inputs on this and what you get. Now, as we talk about capacities on this, it's hard for me to demonstrate those capacities. I mean, I'm running 1500 watts through it right now, and we can add more load to it. But there is a channel called Hobotech that only reviews power stations, or that's all I've seen him ever do, is review power stations and solar equipment. And he has the equipment set up to push every ounce of capacity for charging input, power out, everything. And I watched him test it and load test it and force it to go over the ratings before it kicked off. So if you want visible demonstration that these ratings are accurate, it's available. So obviously this is pure sine wave. He demonstrated that it's pure sine wave. He can measure that in his video. Your 100 to 120 volt at 4,000 watts. Our 12 volt DC 10 amp can be run actually in addition to this. And then we've got the 30 amp here. And here are all of our inputs for our USB-Cs. And this is an Anderson connector. Here on the side, we have our plug-in for plugging this into the wall. Obviously, they supply a cord for you to power this unit with. Now, if you're charging this with either the AC unit or the EV, which is electrical vehicle charger, if you're charging this with your electric vehicle, your Tesla or whatever, or you're using this to charge your Tesla, there's your port for that. And to do that, you have to turn these on because you cannot run the AC charging and the EV charging at the same time. So they've put these switches on to prevent you from doing that. So if you want to charge off an AC, you flip that on. If you want to charge from an EV, you flip that on. And here's your connection for connecting multiple power units or extra batteries through their proprietary cord right here. Now what I have plugged in here is an Anderson connector for the electrical, and you'll see that we're only charging at 22 watts, but earlier today we were getting almost 500 watts of solar input from my 540 watt rated panels. But that's the difference, is that right now it's getting dark and I've set the panels up to charge in the morning, and the sun's on the other side of the building now. So that Anderson connector comes into an adapter that clicks into these two, I don't remember the name of these terminals, but they're the most commonly used that you see on everything. I've got the two panels connected to each other and then ran into this adapter. So that's our solar charging. So these are the Oupes solar panels. And I believe these are rated for 270 watts each. So the setup I've got here with two panels is 540 watts of charging. So your charging input is about the same amount of power that a refrigerator would use. So I guess before I wrap up and give my final thoughts on this, let's plug some more stuff in. Okay, so we're running our lights that run 1,537 watts of power right now. That's more than a microwave. It's twice as much as, or 3 times as much as a refrigerator. It's as much as 50 fluorescent lights, 4-foot fluorescent lights. That is a really high power draw. It's as much or more as most electric space heaters. Now, I've got a pretty good size air compressor here. We're going to see if it'll run that too. Okay, with the air compressor running, so with the lights and the air compressor running, we're pulling 2,700 watts out of the 4,000 rated. Let's see if we can throw in a circular saw. So that kicked it out. At least the initial draw of it was too much. So anything you're running with an electric motor, it might take 1,000 watts to run it, but 1,600 watts to start it. So the startup on this ended up being too much. So let's see what we get here. Turn our AC back on. Air compressor and circular saw are running 2,500 watts. So that means, or 2,200 watts. So that means with the 1,500 of the lights, we're at 3,800 watts. So we're right at the limit, but that startup power was too much. So you saw that kick the unit out. The lights and this air compressor and the circular saw all combined were running 3,900 watts. It's rated for 4,000. So it makes sense, it's predictable, and it's acceptable that that kicked it out trying to do a startup on the third tool. Okay, we're done with the air compressor. We don't need air built up right now. Done with the circular saw. So 2 years ago, I reviewed a whole bunch of power stations from different brands, and I said the market is not there for these to be a viable solution for me. I believe the market's changed. I believe that especially today with the sale on this and my discount code, you can get this at a price that makes it a really, really attractive offer. And I didn't know if I would think that whenever I agreed to take this unit, but I'm impressed. And I'm going to use this continually out here, and I'll do long-term updates on all of the power stations that I have shown in my videos. But for now, I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.